Yo, 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 what's going on, YouTube? It's your boy Nate the Great coming at you with another live. You already know if you're new to the channel, like, share, comment, and subscribe. To all the returning friends and family, you already know it's peace and blessings. I'm going to give y'all a little bit of time to tune in case these notifications ain't go out. First days first, hopefully everybody having a blessed and productive Wednesday. And for those who like to say happy hump day, mother, hopefully everybody's smoothly getting through their morning, whether they working, whether they with the family. Chuck, what's going on, my guy? I could have. Oh yeah, you must have got a new page. I could have swore you was modded up in the last page, bro. So I got you after this live, my guy. Popcorn, what's going on? Hopefully everybody's smoothly getting through the work day. Hopefully everybody got plans for the weekend, safe plans, or whatever you plan on doing. You know, making sure you keeping yourself visual at all times. Making sure you watching your surroundings. Making sure you keeping yourself hydrated. Definitely, we still in the heat wave despite this little storms we got coming. You know. Make sure that you're keeping your health preserved more than anything. Appreciate everybody that tuned in Monday for the conversation. Definitely was a great one that was needed. And if you missed it, you can definitely catch this replay. Today I'm going to speak about some safety tips or just some safety in general. There's some of you parents that living in quote unquote projects or these apartment complexes. Some of y'all are suffering from certain conditions, even down to your window guards and your window sills. Heard a story about a 3-year-old baby falling out of a window on the other side of town. Sad thing, really, because again, you got to start paying attention to your toddlers. Just pay attention to your children, period. Because it doesn't matter what floor they live on. It doesn't matter how hard the fall was. Any fall out of a window is not a good look, because you have no time to prepare or brace yourself. Serious, what's going on, baby? And honestly, you get tired of hearing stories like that. You get tired because it's like, well, damn, you can't just blame solely one person. No, everybody has to take accountability. Now, if there's situations where your window guards and your window protectors are not where you're supposed to be at, y'all supposed to be calling maintenance for that. But in the same token, parents, you still gotta be watchful. Your kid playing around the window, that's a no-no, especially if you're on a hot floor. It doesn't matter even if you're on a low floor, like the third or the fourth floor. A fall out the window still is a fall out the window nonetheless, and that's still a danger. Again, pay attention to your children. You have some people, kids that fell out the window, and it was never the same after that. And again, I already beat you to the punch, serious. My bad. I'm looking at the chat now. Yeah, I already beat you to the punch. I already beat you to the punch. Yeah. But it's again, we get tired of hearing stories like that. In some instances, some people will get upset because people have, something to say about the situation. But in that same token, you can't get upset when you put yourself in that type of situation, period. Sassy baby. Again, parents, start making sure your children are being as safe as possible. It's almost the same thing with your toddlers playing around with electrical sockets and stuff. That's a no-no right there. Even the babies, that's a no-no, because it only takes one time for them to touch the wrong thing or something happen and they catch a spark or a shock. Yeah, it's one thing falling out of a window, but it's another thing being electrocuted, And that's why I said, even in your household, you got to make sure everything is safe. Make sure that your electrical sockets, especially if you got babies and kids, make sure they got those socket protectors so they can't mess around, so they can't do nothing that would harm them or hurt them. Hammer, what's going on, baby? The fuck was that? Uh-oh. They done took somebody's car. Nah, I'm messing with y'all. I don't know what that sound is, but it is getting annoying now. Susanna, baby. And again, even in this era, you have to be careful and be mindful. Yeah, safety does start at home. So again, make sure that your kids are playing within eyes reach and with distance, because again, you don't want a situation like that. A child playing around and falls out of a window and could possibly have head injuries or anything along those lines. That's not nothing that any parent should have to worry about. Any real responsible parent will make sure, no matter what, their kids are not in harm's way. You know, it's almost it's almost like how some people right now are still doing the things we seen back in the day. Some of these parents are leaving their kids home to fend for themselves, basically, while they out and about in the streets. No child should be in a damn kitchen that's too young to even do anything. Again, you leaving a child at home, they could get into anything. They could end up going in the kitchen, start messing with the stove and the oven, either burn themselves or burn the house down. And again, whose fault would that be at the end of the day? It's not the child's fault. No, it would be the parents' fault, because the parents are not being actively responsible. Again, your children shouldn't be left in harm's way at all. Charlene, baby. Again, it is cautious tales right here that you get every day. Some of y'all are learning from these stories that you hear, whether it's on the news or not. Again, a child falling out of a window is dangerous. Even on the lowest floors, it's still dangerous, because that child has no way to guard or protect themselves or even catch some form of a landing. You have to be responsible, parents. That's just like even when you out and about. You could be going to certain functions. Make sure your children are not getting into things that can hurt. That'd be like if you had a barbecue. You're not going to let your child run around that grill while it's hot, or even touch it, because that could be a fire hazard for them. That could be a hurt right there for them. Platty, baby. Krishna, baby. Yeah, I know, Platty. It's still early. I know. But again, parents, it's time for y'all to start remembering the safety protocols, especially when it does come down to your kids. I'm good, Krishna. I'm good. Enjoying my morning coffee, talking to the people as always. And shout outs to the plug, you know, but you gotta remember that part. Um, your sole purpose as a parent is to keep your child protected. Keep them protected at all costs. Indoors or outdoors, it doesn't matter. You want to make sure that they're not in any form of danger to where they'll be in the hospital, staying for days, maybe weeks, even months. And you definitely don't want it to be a situation where your child is not coming back home to that place of comfort. We know some people who have, who just by them taking their eyes off the prize have lost something that was great to them. Parents got to start making sure also that they fight back when they need to fight back. Like prime example, we know there's areas where there's always some form of gun violence or gun play and stuff like that, but your family and your household should be protected. A bullet should not have to be coming through a window, coming through a wall, straight bullet on top of that. You know, Again, it's time for the parents to start keeping your household safe at all costs. I don't know what that sound is, but that is getting annoying now. My bad, y'all. But I feel that's the best course of protocol. Just making sure you keeping certain things away from, because it's the most important thing to keep them within reach. Oh, what's that sound? Shut up! My bad, yo. Welcome to New York City. And it's not my microphone. It's the sad part. That's whatever this is going on in this building right here, and they ain't turned that shit off yet. God damn it! This is why I don't sit back here. Y'all always find a way to give me noise pollution. God damn it! My bad, y'all. Man, give me 1 second while I scream at it again. Shut up! Maybe it might work. No, but you gotta make sure of that. Make sure that you know, make sure that your family is always within great protection. You know, it's one thing when it's things that are out of your control and it happens. Okay, that's just things that happen. But when you know you could prevent it from happening, prevent it from happening. Again, your children playing around windows, playing around electrical outlets, even in the bathtubs or around tubs and stuff like that. You got to be careful. Look how many people lost their children by them letting their children roam around. Got a bathtub full of water. That child done fell in that water, and nobody knew that child fell in that water and drowned. It's a scary thing. You have had some instances where those things have happened, but by the grace of that higher power, all injuries were averted to a degree. But again, you still would have to be mindful. When you have babies, you have to make sure they are not, trust me, the terrible twos is when they're going to be running, touching, and doing everything. Because again, they're exploring. They're still trying to learn what's what. They see things that's new to them. They're going to try to see what it's about. That's the exploration in them. But they should not be exploring a hospital stay. E Money, what's going on, my guy? You already know if y'all just tuned in with the like button. Oh yeah, my bad, y'all. If y'all hearing this annoying ass screech, that's coming from this boiler room. I don't know what the hell they did in there, but I'm about to get up and move in a minute. It's burning my ears now. Burning my damn ears. Shay, what's going on, baby? Again, you have to be mindful of everything because they are fragile still. You know, they're young Padawans trying to learn the world around them. But you have to be on guard with everything they do. You know, even when it comes down to the simplest things. All right, you might be teaching them how to ride a bike. You still got to make sure they got those knee pads on, those elbow pads, that helmet, and them training wheels just in case. I told you what it is, Platty. And I'm about to get the fuck up because now it's really starting to irk my nerve. And I see you starting to irk my damn live stream. We got a problem. I don't like this. Yo, E, you know what I be doing, man. Come on, son. That's just me. Oh, and it got worse. It got worse. As soon as I got up, I'm up out of here. My bad, y'all. Give me a second. I'm trying to relocate. Yeah, son. Shut that shit off, bitch. Up. Everything was cool when one of y'all niggas walked in that bitch. Man. Motherfucker. Hey, motherfucker. Over here. Everything was good till one of you little Archie and Bunker looking motherfuckers walked in there. My bad, y'all. My bad. About to make me get crazy. Let me get my ass on from over here. Man. Sound like a damn nuclear bomb and shit about to go off. My bad, y'all. My bad. Oh, don't worry. This ain't for kids. This for grown-ups anyway today, so don't worry. My foul mouth is warranted right now. Thank you. Thank you. I'm trying to calm my nerves serious, but shoot. I'm doing too damn much. Shoot. Did not want to get up and relocate neither. Everything was cool until one of y'all darn Goma Power face asses walked up in there and did something. Got me, man. My pole scalp, y'all pray for it. But nah, for real. Even down to the simplest things. Like I said, teaching your child how to ride a bike and do simple things along those lines. Make sure that they protect and that they covered at all times. When they do get those little um, scrapes and bruises, all that other stuff, because it's bound to happen. Anybody that's rode a bike, it's bound to happen. Don't worry, I'm good. Nah, but it's not as bad as it was earlier. So yeah, my scalp hurt. But yeah, you got to keep them comfort. When they do have their little accidents, you gotta be their rock, you gotta be their comforter. You know. But again, just pay attention to everything. Your children should not be left unattended. Your children should not be playing near windows or anywhere where they could possibly hurt themselves, break bones, or worse. And it seems like you figured some people would learn lessons, or some people would learn from the mistakes from people who have been through it already. You know, I wouldn't care if you was the busiest parent. You still got to keep your eyes on your children. I don't care if you was busy in the house doing a million things. You need to make sure your baby is in within reach. Make sure your baby is not doing anything and getting into anything. Any type of object, especially if they sharp, you got to keep them within range because if they get their hands on it, they could possibly hurt themselves. There's certain things you're not supposed to keep lying around because if they get their hands on it, especially if they at that stage of crawling and learning, they're gonna pick things up. They 9 out of 10 are gonna try to eat the stuff or see what it is to possibly accidentally swallow that, and then now you really got a problem. Let's not forget about those situations. Definitely do not want your children in that much of an impasse. Again, be watchful at all times. If there's things that they could possibly get into, prime example, you can't leave certain daily products that y'all use. I'm talking about men and women. Like you can't leave a jar of Vaseline sitting within range of them because 9 out of 10 they gonna dig right into it. Baby powder or even certain kitchen items. Can't sit there and leave it and thinking they not gonna mess around with it. I'm still laughing about one of the videos I seen with the parents came home and both of the kids is covered in paint. Now it's funny and it's cute, but then again, that could have been dangerous too because God forbid them babies would have swallowed paint or anything along those lines. It could have been severe. You know, if paint would have gotten in your eyes or anything along those lines, probably might have caused a little bit of damage, depending too. So again, you gotta be watchful. Cool gamer, what's going on? But you gotta remember that part. There are gonna be some things you're not gonna always be able to catch. But when you spot the main things you need to spot before it becomes a problem, make sure you're fixing that. Like prime example, your windows. Again, I don't care if you live in the projects. I don't care if you live in a house. I don't care if you live in a condo or the tallest tower. You will want to make sure that you don't have to worry about somebody possibly falling out of a window. Or there have been situations where people have got their heads stuck in the window guards and stuff like that, playing around. And that's not nothing to be playing around with either. know? Again, you have to be mindful and be careful at all costs. Easiest way of being a parent, or I believe the easiest form of parenting is safe parenting. Again, make sure that they are in, just make sure they're in good hands at all times, no matter what. And when they do have their little accidents and stuff that you can't really be in control of or couldn't stop, still be responsible. Gabe, what's going on, my guy? Harry, what's going on, my guy? And you know what? It's just some people do make mistakes. Not gonna lie. But those people that made those mistakes, especially dealing with children, have learned from those mistakes. They learned that it's not gonna be an easy cakewalk. But in the same token, it shouldn't be a hard fought battle. Like, what do you want for your children? Do you want the best out of your children? Do you want your children to grow up safe? Or do you at least want them to know safety as they're growing up? Like I said, if there's things in the household, especially if you do got new additions to the family, shoot, even down to your pets, right? Your pets could be in danger just as well as your youngest children could be in danger. So I said, if there's certain things that you need to pick up or just discard, discard them. Again, it's about safety. The same way if you got weapons in the house, even if it is for protection of the home and the family, you would want to do your best to lock up or get rid of anything because the minute your children get hold of it, it could be a severe danger. In certain situations, we've seen children unalive their own family members just because they was playing with something they thought was a toy. And when they found out it wasn't a toy, it was already too late. But again, you got to be, mindful of what you are presenting around them anyway. I feel the worst danger is when the children are placed in a situation where it's a no-win. Denise, baby, it really is important to have, again, all forms of safety protocol because at some points, you never know what could happen. And you definitely don't want to be left holding the bag. You have to be mindful too when you are dealing with emergency services and everything too. Because if it was a situation that occurred and it wasn't your fault, you still have to prove that. Truth, baby. And yes, appreciate you dropping those links, serious, baby. Working harder than this damn alarm system on my earpiece, baby. You gotta think about that. Wait 1 second. But you gotta remember that part. Anything, anything that you would deem dangerous, anything that would be deemed harmful or cause any form of bodily harm, especially towards your youngest, you better make sure you getting that up out the house and immediately. Because again, you do not want to suffer or reap that consequence. When it's all said and done, you are supposed to remember that. Key visuals, being alert when you're supposed to be alert, even when you at your tiredest, you are supposed to still be alert. Don't leave your kids unattended, even if they are safe in the house. Don't leave them unattended. You know they're young. Somebody got to at least keep their eyes open. Main thing I can tell you from experience is just certain days, regardless of how tired you may be, you're gonna have to tire them out. And if you want to get them to rest and then you get to relax and unwind, you're gonna have to tire them out. And that means you're gonna have to keep their brain stimulated and you're gonna have to keep them focused. Gotta keep everything about them stimulated. And yes, this could be a trigger warning for some, so but again, you gotta remember, you know, these type of situations can occur in the blink of an eye. You not paying attention to what your children are doing, especially when they're in the house, could be some damage. I'll give you a prime example. There's some people who get upset when they find out there's certain things that don't seem right. But then in the same token, if you're leaving personal items around, like even your IDs and stuff like that, at some point, they might mess around with it. You got some situations where children are ordering stuff off of their mothers or their father's cards. Again, not paying attention. Sometimes you leave things lingering around and won't think about it, but sometimes you have to think about it. 702, baby. Hope all well with you, sis. But you gotta think about that. There's some situations where, these kids are getting smarter now. It don't take much for them to do certain things or charge certain things to you. It's just part of the game, right? But you gotta remember that part. Nothing that should be deemed dangerous should be left anywhere within the vicinity. Again, you got weapons. Put your weapons, you know, put your weapons outside of the house, or at least put it somewhere. Yeah, it's really not that serious. No, thought you had a friend. It really is that serious. Um, because again, harm that doesn't need to happen, especially in the place where it's supposed to be safe. So I'm gonna need you to go back to the sector that you was in. I'm quite sure I've seen you before. But yeah, y'all. Yeah, I don't be playing that shit. Just appreciate you 702, baby. Like I said, you gonna always get cornballs that come from different areas that just don't understand real conversations because they don't live in real time. They live on it. But this is still an awareness story because again, no child should have to worry about falling out of a window. Child should have to worry about being harmed or causing harm, especially in the place where they live at. And again, parents need to start being more responsible. Not all parents, but those parents who think they got the ropes. No, there's still things you're gonna have to learn, things you're gonna have to practice, because again, it's about safety and preservation. Mo, what's going on, baby? How you doing? Simba cool, sis. And took him out for his little morning walk before this live started. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. I felt a little different too. You said it's not that serious, but then again, are you coming from a situation like that? Or have you been around a situation like that? If you haven't, I don't believe you should be opening your mouth. So while you sitting in the shadows, learn something. Like a lot of you that's coming from wherever, learn something. You learn how to talk, learn how to really be you. And don't come out on the first of the month when you just got your checks. Please don't do that. Because if it's your first of the month and you coming in here with that, I'm gonna be taking at least $2 out y'all checks every month. So, but no, again, like if you're gonna protect your house, know how to protect your house, and it does start with being safe. That's how you protect them. Period. You know, you have to play it safe in certain situations and scenarios because again, your objective is to keep them away from home. You know, I don't think any parent want to really sit in no hospital with their children, and especially you know when it's situations that could have been avoidable or situations that just it didn't mean to happen, but it happened. But it's more about what you learn and that mental stability too. EPB, what's going on? What's going on? Oh wow, Harry, come on, man. See, like stuff like that can happen. Again, I just said this earlier in the live stream. Some kids have either unalived themselves, unalived family members, or both. This is why I said if you're gonna have protection in the house, then yes, you need to be learning all the critical tools you need because it's necessary. I think that's should be every parent's worst fear is a child being unalived in the household, especially when it could have been avoided. You have to again just be precautious. And even when they not in the house, still be precautious as parents. Because anything can happen, even outside. You know. Yeah, man. Prayers up, though, bro. That's what I'm saying. Things like that it hit different. You got to remember, they have a right to live. They have a right to grow and explore life. Their life shouldn't be cut short of tragic because of you know even down to miscommunications. Again, don't forget about that part. The pills, the medications, things along those lines that would be in the bathroom, prime example, even in the medicine cabinet, or things that you should have in the medicine cabinet, keep that in there. Don't leave it around the way your children can get a hold of it. Now, granted, yeah, there's there's some situations where, a child is not as lucky to open up one of those containers. But then there's situations where it could happen, especially if you ain't got it screwed on tight enough. Your child could, God forbid, overdose in that house over something that even if it is a product that you use, prime example, but they can still take that risk on harming themselves or overdosing just because they had too much of it. Yeah, nah, I hear you, bro. That would be like that for any parent, for real, man. That'd be like that for any sane parent, at least. You know, because again, it's just those are the things you would hate to worry about. And it's a good thing that he did survive that, because again, some people ain't that lucky. And again, this could be triggering for some. So, and it starts back again after the sound just went away. But all in all, though, this is something that you really got to get in touch with. And again, be honest with yourselves. What's more important? Your child's safety, development, and preservation, or your own personal wants and needs? Again, those are situations that some of these people are never going to be able to relive. They're never going to be able to get that back. Because again, all it takes is 1 second to not pay attention to something, and it can be over with. And that will leave a deep hurt the way some people are going to have a deep, scarred pain. You know, it never should have to come to that for real. So, you got to be mindful. It's good. So, you got to be mindful of every little nook and cranny when it comes to careful parents. You know? Don't think you could just leave your child, prime example, with anybody and think something might not possibly happen. Again, you have to be on guard. Give me 1 second, y'all. But you got to remember that part too. Your kids are not throwaways. I'm gonna say this like this: your kids are not throwaways, stowaways. You know, if anything, those are your blessings. Those are you know, your bloodline, your blood tree. You would want to make sure that they are trying to live their life as best as possible, despite how the world is changing. Susanna, baby, you also want to make sure that they ain't in the way of any form of, dangerous, precarious situations. Like again, a child shouldn't have to worry about playing with something and then possibly it could be the last time they play with anything or experience life. Prime example, if you got glass in certain areas, and I'm talking about the glass that could actually harm you, get rid of it. Anything that could be broken, anything along those lines where it would cause that, yeah, make sure your child is safe at all costs. Sweep, vacuum, do all you gotta do. Prime example again, if you got windows that are broken or even shattered, you should be trying to replace those because in the event any situation happens, prime example, that child is near that window, that child could possibly get hurt in multiple ways. And again, that's a hospital stay that you don't want to really have to go through. You have to remind yourself the same way your parents was keeping you safe, you have to keep yours safe. You're supposed to keep certain things in the cycle. You're supposed to keep it going, you know, and that's one of them. Again, yes, we know it takes more than two to raise everything. It does take a outreach of different people, but in that same token, again, it's about being safe and sorry. You know, But seeing there's stories like this that happen everywhere. Children are not falling out of windows, being unattended to or whatever. There's other situations where they harming themselves within. Again, it's crazy. You gotta remember, you cannot take your eyes off the prize for not 1 minute. That prize is your children. That is your pride and joy, your work of art. So your work of art, you know, it needs to blossom, you know. And again, you have to teach safety when you need to teach safety. Again, no sharp objects should be laying around. Anything that can possibly decapitate, nah, you don't need that. You know, gotta be real. You know, when it's all said and done, you're gonna be the one left holding the bag. And again, if things, transpired in an eerie way, like if it was really out of your control, then as a parent, you still do what you need to do. Cover all angles. You know, if it was a freak accident, you cover ground so this way, they don't think, oh, you was just being neglectful or you just wasn't paying attention. Because sometimes accidents do happen. Not going to say they don't, but again, it's about being wise and responsible and knowing what to do at that time frame. And again, some people are going to panic. Understandable. You know, and that right there is a dangerous situation. Leaving these things lying around where the toddlers or even the young ones will start being nosy and start playing around with it. They'll get curious. Again, those ages and stages until they get a certain age, they are still curious about things. At that age, they curious about everything still. And then when they get to a certain age, there's going to be things that they're not curious about no more because they already got the knowledge on what it is, if it's dangerous or not, you know, and also just to keep away from it. Anything flammable, prime example, shouldn't be left around. Lighters, things along those natures, anything that can spark a fire, that shouldn't be lying around. You definitely do not want to have that form of a situation because now you might not just be leaving yourself out of a home for the time frame, or you might not just be in a precarious situation. You might not be here. Prime example: if y'all all having situations with your gas lines, or anything along those lines, right? Yeah, you make sure you calling not just 311, but you calling the people necessary to make sure everything is a-okay. And if not, better pack up and move. You know, prime example: if your children got real severe asthma, there's certain things they can't be around. There's also certain things they might not be able to eat. So again, you better make sure you getting the proper test done on them when needed, because again, you could misdiagnose something and it'd be something serious behind it. You know, anything that you might deem that form of a worry, um, get to being safe about it. You know, that's all you got to do. You know, that's what I'm saying. It's very important, man. It's very important. Healing prayers, because hopefully that boy is okay. I had just seen the thing pop up on my feed this morning. But again, that's real scary. You know, your children have to be safe, not just outdoors but indoors. That's the main goal and the focus today. You know, you know, whether you coming from a big household or a small household, again, make sure everybody in that household is following some form of safety. And if nobody's following the form of safety, then you would have to exit them out because again, that is the worst thing to have to worry about. Children being under some form of attack or possibly harming themselves because of carelessness. Again, you have to worry about these things. Again, they're gonna be exploring. And again, awareness is always the key. Shoot, I've had a situation where I almost could have hurt myself or hurt people in the house. And guess what? Awareness did everything it was supposed to do. But also giving knowledge on something, that also taught me something. Again, you gotta teach the lessons, you know. I appreciate you, serious. Yeah, no, it's just, it's things like that that teach you life lessons. I was young when I learned that life lesson, but hey, I knew what to play with and what not to play with. And if it's a danger, don't mess with it. You know, that's almost like picking up a machete right now. You playing around with it when you're young. All right, almost hurt yourself or hurt somebody in there. So again, you got to remember, being safe on all cylinders is the best way to do it. And if it's something that you're doing that you think is safe and it's showing that it's not safe, you need to change the protocol. Again, it is safety over everything. I'll drop the link in case anybody want to chime in. But again, a precautionary stuff. Children should always, always have the best comfort and safety around them. I'm sorry, but like I said, it hit different because there's some who have tragically fallen out of windows and they didn't survive. Again, there are kids who have gotten into certain prescription pills and medications and they wasn't able to make it. And prayers and condolences and healing prayers to those parents or those people who have gone through it. Because again, that's something that no parent should ever have to worry about. I believe no matter how you look at it, there are certain situations where there's always going to be a danger. Like prime example, if you had some form of a slight head injury, whether it's playing sports or doing whatever, you got to keep them up because again, can't let them lay down and go to sleep directly after that. So they can fall into a coma. We know that part right there. But again, even that situation, your child has some form of a head injury or some form of a head trauma, make sure that your child is good. You know, the most important thing you do with anybody, really. You know, and again, you just gotta remember that part, though. You know, all you gotta do is just keep your eyes open. You know, and if you can't do it, make sure you got somebody that's just as responsible to make sure that nothing is going on. You have to teach them. Show them that everything is different. You know, some of these things that you think is for play is not for play, and it could definitely harm and hurt a lot of people. So again, the lessons need to go deep as well. But yeah, um, another thing you should have to place into a safety protocol is again making sure there is emergency contacts all around the board. In case you're not with your children and something does happen, yeah, there needs to be all forms of emergency contacts just in case if they can't reach you right away. You know, there should be somebody right there or right next to that should be able to help at that point. Again, yeah, it takes two to make a child. Yes, it takes more than two to raise that child and children around in that community. And that's something I'm gonna keep repeating because it's the truth. If done the right way, trust me, you'll see the differences. You That's the whole fact, serious. That's what I'm saying. It's just these people are going to suffer with that because you know it happened on their watch. You know, regardless of what, you know, that's a child or that's a person that they can't get back. You know, you got to remember, you should not leave anything, and I mean absolutely anything, in your child's way that could put them in an early grave or in a long hospital stay. Also, one thing to remember too is that again, when the children are that age, you need to have enough energy to, keep after. Trust me, they're gonna be speedsters. But in the same token, hey, you gotta do that because when you do that, you're keeping the balance. You know, again, no matter how tired you are, or no matter what you might be going through, you still have to be the focal point and also the stronghold for your children and for your family tree. And I'm sorry because it's a clear lesson that should be learned. You know, leaving children unattended, even for the slightest of seconds, is the worst thing you can do. You never know what can happen that quickly. You know? And like prime example, there's another situation. There's some of y'all who want these big, dogs to protect the household granny. But you got to make sure that that dog is properly trained to where it won't harm the people who resonate in that house. You know, look at certain situations where children are getting mauled by their own pets. It's a scary situation. She say, "What's going on, baby?" You already know if y'all just tuned in, hit the like button. And if y'all new to the channel, like, share, comment, and subscribe. But look at the situations like that. You know, supposed to be buying a pet that's supposed to be protecting the home, but in the same token, that pet decides to turn on the owners. That's a scary thing. So again, if you are going to incorporate any form of those animals in the household, you better make sure that again they got the prior training, and you have to train them well. And that don't mean abuse the pets, no, but you have to teach them to discipline in the right way. Prime example, we need to know if this is the household I'm living in. I got to protect the people that's in the household, and also teach your children if you are going to have those pets to, you know, just teach them certain things. I believe even the smallest safety measures could keep them from harm. But then look, we had situations where you got households who have big pets, and as dangerous as those pets can be, hey, they already know it's a baby, so they ain't gonna harm the defenseless, at least not to an extent. Now, if they feel like they being harmed, then they even shoot. They can turn on anything. Again, the most important thing to remember is safety protocols at all costs. You know, make sure you getting the proper. Make sure you getting the proper pets. And even if you're gonna be breeding pets, prime example, then hey, make sure those breeds don't switch up and don't turn on. You know, but you're absolutely right on that point right there. Serious is true. You know, every household is supposed to have a safety protocol and measure just in case. And if you don't want a loss of life or short expectancy for your children and your offspring, then you better start keeping that safety protocol on guard. Prime example, when your children are getting on these school buses and stuff like that, they should still remain safe as well too. You have to teach them that too. Teach them to keep their seat belts on. You know, keep those windows closed because again, you've had situations like that too. Children falling out of the bus. If they not falling out the bus window, they falling out the back exit, so on and so forth. That's something that still need to be taught because that's a dangerous game right there too. Your child, God forbid, be the one that just decide they want to see what it's about and open that latch. Hold on a second. One for Tanya. Hold on, I got you.
Hey, Nate, how's it been, man?
I'm good. How you been?
Oh, I'm fine. I go back to my other job tomorrow. But I like to say this, man. We people don't, you gotta watch out for these electrical. Don't let the kids stick their finger in the socket, man. You know, and stay. I let the kids stay away from aerosol cans because back in my day, if the kid had aerosol cans, they would take the aerosol can and snip it up their nose. Okay, that was like that in my day, you know. If any kid had an aerosol can, um, back then they would take the aerosols to sniff it up, sniffing glue. You know, that was that it back in the day. You know, make sure the kids don't get a hand on aerosol cans, roach spray, any kind of thing. You know, they always say keep it out of the reach of children, but sometimes the children are so smart, don't get wind of it. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, stay away from bleach. Like, if you have any laundry detergent, let them. They supposed to have capsules so the kids don't get in there. Mm. So,
Exactly.
yeah. So, I have seen that in my time when I was growing up in the 80s that kids had these aerosol cans and they would take it up their nose and sniff glue just to get a high out of it. But I don't see what's the point. You're only going to get sick or whatever else.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just all common sense because back in the day you had these latchkey kids that the kid would have the key because the parents wouldn't be home till around in the morning, and that's how that was back then. But
Yeah,
it's probably still going on now, but it was really prevalent back in the 70s and 80s. You know,
definitely was. Man, listen, I done heard the stories.
yeah, yeah. But you let them not go near stoves, electrical appliances that they don't know how to use.
Yeah,
Right.
you gotta give awareness on things like that of those natures anyway. So
Yeah,
you are supposed to.
yeah. So yeah. So how you been otherwise, Nate?
Yeah, I've been cooling,
Hmm.
outside of working,
Yeah.
same old, scheming on the next vacation. So go back
Oh.
to work. Hold on one second. Go back to work. Son, your 15-minute break been over 2 hours ago, son. Go see, this is why your check gonna be 12 cents. I gotta dock everybody pay. My bad, yeah. Nah, I've been cooling. I've
I
been
remember
cooling.
I remember one security guard had a supposed to have a 15-minute break, but he was late coming to work. He was had his break from 5:30 to 7:30, and
Mhm.
he cursed the people out. He said F this job, and he went on the speaker and says F this job. He said F Karen, the people in charge. And that was a long time ago, but it's still on Facebook today, and I still laugh at it. Really.
Crazy.
So I'll be starting my job tomorrow from 12:30 to 7. So yeah,
That's
I
what's up.
got
Congratulations.
yeah, I got access. Like, I've been at this job for a while now. Been a few months, like three
Yeah.
months. So yeah. I am still on uh Cowboy's watch. Sooner or later he's gonna get himself arrested. Sooner or
Hmm.
later. But yeah, so you have, like I said, kids, if you have, like, don't touch matches or anything else, anything electrical. Don't get a, like, one of those covers for outlets. They supposed to have those covers for outlets so the kids don't stick them in there. But kids are smart. They'll find anything to do.
That's a
Hmm.
whole fact. It
Yep.
don't take much for them. All it takes is imagination.
Yep. Yep. So right
Wait,
now, with the new technology we supposed to have now, because right back then we didn't have this kind of technology when I was growing up. You know, all we had to use what we had to use.
yeah, that was the whole fact right there. Hold on one second.
Yeah.
I had to train my massive plunger. Yeah, Platty, you did the right thing. See, like I said, even when you get them as pups, you still gotta train them because they'll mess around even when they get to a certain age. If there's babies in the house, yeah, they will try to attack.
Oh,
And some of
dogs,
them
huh?
dogs already be coming out looking like damn near grown ups. So shoot, you gotta be careful. You did the right thing.
Yeah. Yeah. So oh yeah. Hey Nate, I wanted to show you something if you don't mind. I know you didn't probably see it, but I'm just putting the camera up on here, and I'll let you see it if you didn't see it the first time. See that?
Yeah, yeah, I
That's my
see it.
Yeah, that's my grandma, Mrs. King, right there.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, I have the original picture of that. Sorry, put crud. How do I go back? Oh yeah, they had the original picture. But my grandma did her thing. Okay, wait, that is camera. Okay, front. Okay, okay. So yeah, I have the original picture, but I just my grandma did it her thing.
Yeah, and that's what's up.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what that. You know what? The story behind that is I don't know where that picture was taken, but it was it was a risk. You know what I'm saying? That some people knew that she was there, and people say if Mrs. King is there, we're gonna start some mess.
Hmm.
Yeah, because we
Yeah,
didn't have they had letters or something to get her over there, you know. But I'm just my grandmother had to watch her back, front, and everything, just to make her feel like she's safe somewhere, anywhere. But I
yeah,
guess that was kind of impossible. But I'm sure she did it. And my grandfather had to calm the people down because King got killed, and they wanted to start some mess. But my grandfather tried to calm everybody down when a cop was there at the church. So my grandfather, I'm sure he was on pins and needles, but people wanted to start some mess. They wanted to start some mess. Oh, so I said
yeah.
rest in peace. I say rest in peace to my grandmother and grandfather because I was raised by the both of them. My grandfather was a reverend, so yeah. So that's how that is. I'll keep that forever and a day. Yeah, yeah. Thanks to
Best
my
way to keep
stepmom
the
for giving.
memories alive. Best way to keep
Yeah,
the memories alive.
yeah, 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 yeah. Seeing here, and also I still have the original picture right here.
Oh, okay, okay. That's what's up.
Yeah, I have the
Definitely make sure
original.
you keeping those.
Yeah, yeah. Like I said before, they must have been. I don't know what that was like having to watch yourself all the time if nobody doesn't start no mess. But you know, sure, I'll make a necklace out of that or something just to keep that. But I keep that every day. I look at it every day and I say, "Ma did a good job." I'm sure she was scared for her freaking life. So, but that's what we're missing these days. People not sticking their necks out, even though you know they don't want to do that no more. You know, they don't want to do that no more. And I say, my grandmother and grandfather did it. Why can't these young people do the same doggone thing? Okay,
Yeah,
that's my message today for these young people. Fight the power. My grandparents did, even though it came at a certain kind of risk, but they didn't care about the risk. They wanted to do what was right. You know, so.
that's the whole fact. Miss Chicago, baby.
Yeah, well, these young people, like I said, this is not my era, man. This is my era is still 70s and 80s, and that's how I feel about it. Uh, these young people today, God, I don't know. It seems like we're in a AI technology freaking world. Oh well, well, hey, it was nice talking to you, Nate. I've been missing you, and you go do your thing, and I'll do my thing, man. You know. And you know, like I always say, in the famous words of Captain Murdoch, a lethal weapon, I'm getting too old for this shit. And that's a fact.
Definitely have a good one, Tanya. And don't worry, I'm gonna catch up on you. I tried to catch you this morning, I believe, and I think I just missed you. It been
Oh
one of
yeah,
those.
well I'll be live like Saturday or Friday. I'll be live doing some mess and everything. But you'll always be welcome over at Heritage Nate. I really mean that thing too. Hmm.
And you already know anytime you're more than welcome to hit the panel on the conversation. You know what it is.
Okay. Like I said one more time in the famous words of Captain Murdoch, a lethal weapon, I'm getting too old for this shit. Ah, well. Bye.
Definitely have a great one, Tanya.
Thank you.
Shout out to Hammer Nation for popping in. And again, appreciate you for dropping those links, serious baby. Hold on one second. Uh, I do owe y'all something. I do owe y'all a little something. For the birthday babies right now, celebrating. There you go. There you go. There you go. Hopefully y'all enjoying your birthdays, another year around the sun, another blessing. And just try to make the best of what you can make the best out of. appreciate all of y'all for tuning in this afternoon now. Uh, and again, we do have to do that though. We have to learn to start bringing the safety measures back within order. And like I said, if you are going to have large pets in the house, you need to make sure that they're trained and make sure that they're not going to harm you or harm the children or anybody that's in the household. And again, cover your bases as parents. I'm sorry, but in this day and age, it's getting worse and worse now. There's different ways these children are being harmed now. We done had stories of children coming across things they ain't supposed to come across, even the most deadliest of drugs, and then look what happens. Again, we already going through enough stages and phases in life. In the same token, you got to remember that just because the world changed and the game changed, the overall safety factor didn't change at all. The children can be in harm's way if you are doing things you ain't supposed to be doing in your house. Again, can't tell you how to move and live your life, but it is about safety protocols. Like prime example, if I know for a fact I'm doing things in the streets, I need to keep it in the streets and not bring it towards my family. Um, if I'm out there hustling and doing whatever I'm doing, again, I shouldn't be bringing it home. That's an easy way for my child to be in the midst of that danger right there. James, what's going on, my guy? Again, safety measurements at all costs. I also would say the best form of safety is being with those who are going to remain safe. Like even if you are going to take in, family prime example, they need to follow the safety protocols as well. So that means if you have a specific rule about when they should be in the house, they should be following that protocol. Because even that right there, them not following that protocol could mean a danger to their life. If you're not setting the boundaries and setting the tone the way you're supposed to as parents, guardians, or anything along those lines, guess what? You are already doomed to fail. I'm sorry to say it that way. But again, you have to remember your child needs to learn. And who better to teach them than you? You have to teach them how to be safe. You have to teach them how to be aware of their surroundings, be aware of certain dangers, things that can cause bodily harm. And again, preservation of life. And it does start with safety overall. Be more wise in the decisions that you make, especially when it comes down to your household. No matter how you living or how you getting it, you're supposed to make sure that your household is safe at all costs. Period. Some people lose sight of that, which is a sad case because again, don't ever think everything could be that safe. Turn around thinking you going to grab something, your child could be in that much of a danger. Your child could be choking, God forbid, just over something that they picked up and decided to put in their mouth. And let's not forget, we do have kids who end up jamming things in their ear as well too. That's another danger. It's not so much as what they consume in their body as what they do to their body. You know, you have to make sure that again they are not doing things that could cause themselves harm, like sticking crayons and things like that along those. Nah, you can't do those. You know, you have to be careful. To be honest with you, you know, again, for some people, parenting is a tough job. You know, because again, you got to make sure you're covering all bases and access. But it's also a thrilling experience because again, you're bonding with your children. You know, at least you're doing what you need to do to keep your household preserved. You know, teaching valuable experiences and letting them learn valuable experiences as well too. You know, once you've covered the safety bases, everything else should almost be a cakewalk. At least until they get into the pre-teen stages and even them teenage stages. So, you know, again, while they are that young and that precious, try to keep them in the, try to keep them in the best safety. It's just being safe. Period. Can't stress that out much more. Also, prime example, I gotta read into the story that popped in too, but apparently, um, one of these children had unalived themselves, but it was something that was found in a phone that was the main trigger for them going off the deep end. Again, you have to make sure your children are going through, or when you think they're going through the forms of depression, when you read the symptoms well, you have to sit down and talk to them, but also still get them some form of proper counseling. Again, you don't want to misread or overread anything. I'm sorry, but in that instance right there, you got to keep yourself on the up and up. If your children are suffering from forms of depression, no matter how young, you want to make sure as a parent you are getting them all the best care that they can get. Some of them unalive because of drug overdoses. Some people have hit a rock bottom part of their life or felt like they have reached that part. And when all else have failed, hey, take the easy way out. Again, mental stability. That's the main thing you want to make sure your children has throughout life is mental stability. And also the capability to keep themselves from doing the unthinkable. And again, start paying attention to everything. Their devices, phones, all of that. The minute something don't look right, start questioning things. As a parent, you are supposed to make sure your children are mentally balanced. And even if they are suffering from certain forms of anything, your best bet again is trying to get them right. Can't stress that out much longer neither. That's a constant fight to try to make sure everything is good. But guess what? Once you realize you are in the best case scenarios, everything will fall in place. The main thing to remember is keep yourself strong. Keep yourself positive as possible. You know, some of y'all who might be new to the parenting game, hey, again, think about the overall safety. You know, keeping a life preserved is the most safest thing you can do as a parent. Don't learn the hard lessons that some people had to learn. That experience, that pain, it'll never go away for some. For others, it's a long process towards healing. Do what's necessary. You brought them into the world. Now it's really time for y'all to keep them safe. With that being said, I ain't gonna hold y'all on. I got a few things to do for work tonight. Oh, for those following me on Clapper, yeah, I'm gonna definitely be back tonight. Some good vibes. Appreciate those who tuned in last night. We definitely rocked out. Always a blessing to bring sun to the people, and this is what we're gonna keep doing, having these conversations. And again, shout out to Hammer Nation for popping in on the panel for the talk. Appreciate everybody that's been a part of the build, still becoming a part of the build. And again, you know, we still got great conversations and content. Anytime that link is dropped, you already know what it is. But yeah, let me get up out of here. Figure out this lunch. Definitely about that time. For those again on Clap, I'll most likely see you around 7. So, oh yeah, and I ain't forget about y'all. Shout out to the Shadow Watchers. I ain't forget about you. Shadow Mafia, actually. Shadow Mafia and the Shadow Babies. I know some of y'all still got some birthdays coming. So here, you know, got Baby Rufus and Baby Nature who's gonna take you out today. Yeah, yeah, girl. Yeah, yeah, girl. Yeah, yeah, girl. Hold on. We ain't done yet. Yeah. But don't know though, for those who might have just been tuning in, y'all can definitely catch this replay. And again, you know, focus on the most important things out of all things. You know, keeping your family, keeping your lifeline in order. Hopefully somebody did get something out of this. Hopefully y'all can share this out. Again, there's a lot of different safety tips to keeping your kids safe. A lot of them we can sit down and discuss forever. But again, it's about y'all peeping and taking what you need to take. The overall general message. It's unfair to have those people, especially those ones who are coming from your loins, be in the utmost danger because you refuse to start doing what's necessary, being more safe, being more wiser to your situations at hand. So you got. Oh wait a minute. You know what? Before I do get up out of here, hold on. I didn't forget about something. I did not forget about something. I forgot. For those who are feeling good today, those who are feeling good today. Nah, but hopefully y'all enjoy the rest of your mornings, your afternoons, evenings. And oh yeah, happy Thursday to all you future babies, baby. Tamika, baby. You gotta catch this replay, baby. Actually, no, you know what? I'm in here. Who knows? Oh, actually, no. Before I do anything, let me again say this one safety measure. Again, check your children's devices at all costs. Phones, tablets, everything. Especially if your children could be suffering from any form of serious depression. Because again, it could be the simplest things that trigger you know, and they'll trigger that person to do the wrong thing. You have to remember that part. You know, the mind is fragile, especially when dealing with those forms. So I would say again, if you think it's something that could trigger your children to do the wrong things, or it could trigger your children to go off, and also give them reassurance as parents that despite whatever is going on in the world or what you might be going through, you're still here. You know, you still are able to make things work in your, work in your favor. You know, they can't allow the world and the stresses of the world to override their overall decisions neither. You know, and again, when they need to talk, sit down and listen to them. Again, you don't know what you could be doing. Matter of fact, you know what you would be doing. You're making sure that your child is going to stay and remain on the safe board of anything. You ain't going to want your children to crash out just because of what's going on in the world. If you didn't crash out, then you got to make sure they didn't crash out. We all go through certain stresses and trials in life. Gotta let them know you're going to have friends, enemies, associates, so on and so forth. That don't narrate or dictate your life. You're going to have heartaches and heartbreaks. That's part of the game too. You're going to have confusing moments. That's normal. You're going to have days when you're feeling that aggressive. You know? And even then, still got to be mindful. Nothing in the world is going to stop just because you want it to stop. You still got to move on with life regardless. So they have to learn all the ins and outs. And I mean all the ins and outs of life. Parents have to really get on board. And I'm not going to